Hey guys, today's Sunday, June 2nd. I am very glad to be back. My name is Alyssa.
I'm Trista.
I'm Justin.
We're going to talk a little bit about how our weeks have been going because we haven't been here for a couple, and we're going to start with Justin.
I would like to address that I have the whitest legs in the entire world, and if your screen is lots of stuff going on tomorrow. Serve Pro is having their first inaugural golf outing that we're going to start doing every year, and the proceeds go to all first responders and children of first responders that have been hurt in action. So that's looking forward to that. The last few weeks been busy. Life got fast, so we haven't been here for a little bit.
Yeah.
So excited to kind of be back a little bit. My dog's gonna be 12 tomorrow. Excited about that.
Oh yeah. She's went through a lot of stuff.
She had mast cell tumors removed last year, almost a year to the date. So, and she made it. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we're making her a cake, little peanut butter, apples, and a couple other things. Making that.
Apples.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's something we can all eat together. And Meg always makes her pray before she eats too. It's real cute. She lays with her head down. But I'll keep it short. That's all.
One more thing.
Yeah.
How did Flags for Heroes go?
Oh, Flags for Heroes was phenomenal. Peyton Baylog was our guest speaker. She was honored as the Indiana Midday Rotary's a hero, and she spoke, and she's going to come on and do an episode with us. She was in a bad car accident. She was in a coma for 3 months. 70% of her body was burned. She lost her right hand. The fireman, the first responder that pulled her out of the car, was the one that got to bring her up on stage, and it was really great. I had to stop listening for a second and turn and not.
I hope you weren't looking at me because I had
I would be bawling,
screaming down my face the entire time.
Definitely.
She's such an inspirational.
Such an inspiration, and it was really great. Monica Jones with the Indiana County Rotary, Midday Rotary, did such a great job, and there's a bunch of people that did, but she kind of spearheaded that, and she was fantastic. It was really good.
It was
cool.
great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It was a good event.
I love that.
I did do stuff.
Yeah,
I live in Darien. Whenever I drive 217 to past Blair's, from Blairsville to Indiana, there's this big cemetery, and there's a gazillion flags, real flags for Memorial Day and Veterans Day and stuff. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
We had Memorial Day workout here. We had Murph. We had over 50 people again this year, which was huge. Kids doing it. The workout's hard. Mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, a mile run. For the kids, we obviously cut that in half or cut it in a quarter. For the older kids, they did the half Murph. Some of the adults even, did half Murph. And it's one of those things that's just so inspirational in the moment, because when you're thinking about the reason Memorial Day exists, why we have that day off. Murph was Lieutenant Michael Murphy, and if you watched the movie Lone Survivor, he was the guy that basically sacrificed his life to go up onto a hill to get service on his satellite radio to call in people to save his troops. And a helicopter actually did fly in full of men, and it got shot down. And it was one of the deadliest battles that were in Afghanistan. So, and the one person on his crew survived. And people took him in and protected him, and he ended up surviving. So if you've never watched The Lone Survivor, it's
Mark Wahlberg, great movie.
I love Mark Wahlberg.
When we watched it the day before we did Murph, and then we play George W. Bush over the radio, talking about the Medal of Honor he received, and you can't not cry during that every time. So we did that. We do it for the kids too. The kids listen to it.
So you got a new class starting too, didn't you say?
We got 2 new classes. Yeah. We started a new program with High Rocks, which is an endurance training. So for some people that like running and they don't want to really focus on learning different style of lifts, it's pretty basic. Different easy lifts, and then running, skiing, biking, rowing, kettlebell, stuff like that. So nothing super technical. And then we're also starting with JP, which we've interviewed before.
Yeah.
He is going to do a Legends class, so that's 55 awesome. Plus. And we're really excited about that.
I like the name Legends. That's cool.
I like that too.
So, and speaking about JP, if you're local in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and you're interested in seeing it play, There's a local theater on Philly Street, and JP's in the play.
Cool.
He is
That's
in a play
awesome.
called Murdered to Death. It's really funny, and it's a couple hours long. We really enjoyed ourselves. We went last night, so
Good.
shout out to the Playhouse in Indiana.
Nice. All right.
What are we talking about today?
Just to start off, we're talking about starting over, like when you feel like your life is a complete failure, and now you're like, well, here I go again. Now I have to start over again. I'm so sick of doing this. But also, I got a new job about a week ago. It's at City Brewery in Latrobe. I interviewed for 2 positions, which was, one of them was the warehouse coordinator, which is basically like a managerial position, and then just to work on the brewing side, just like a brewing associate, which would be where they actually make the products. So I haven't got anything confirmed as into which job I'm gonna get, but I still got to start orientation tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm just gonna jump into this because what I'm saying pretty much goes into
Sure.
what
What
I'm
a
saying.
good time to just do an episode on starting over, whatever you like before you start a new job.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say real quick, like, the beginning of my life, I was a drug addict for a long time. I went to 3 different rehabs. The 4th one I went to, the 3rd one, I had my kid with me. I ended up messing up again, so she had to get taken away. She lived with her father for 11 years. My grandpa passed away, who was the word best friend doesn't even fit because he was way more than that. And that was in August 2021. And my family realized how hard this was gonna be on me. So they came down to Pittsburgh because that's where I had moved for, 11 years, 10 years, and basically rescued me. He's just like, pack your shit, put it in my truck, and we're gonna go to rehab. And it was this guy right here. Yeah, and it's the whole other side of the family. Like my grandpa's on my mom's side, Justin's on my dad's side. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was my family, and he saved me. So,
And isn't it crazy that we brought you into this room?
The day before you went to rehab.
The day before you went to rehab.
Yeah, and did we have a podcast that day? I don't remember.
No, we didn't have a podcast then, so.
Just an intervention.
Yeah, nice little tight intervention.
Yes, and honestly, I have to say, I was in this room, not every day, but 3, maybe 4 days a week, for around a year. Maybe it was 2 days a week, sometimes back and forth, whatever. But when I walked back into this room, like tears came to my eyes because I miss it. So in February of 2023, I started a job that I thought like could potentially be my career. I started at a level 5 secure facility for juvenile sex offenders, and I loved it. I loved the kids. I loved everything about the job. So about it was 11 months. They had sent me down to Harrisburg to become an SEM trainer. SEM stands for Safe Crisis Management. And I have wanted to do this like the entire time I've worked there. So they sent me down there, spent 5 days with 3 other people that work with me, and everything was paid for. It was actually really fun. Our instructor was really cool. There's a theory section, and there's also a restraint part of it too, where you're able to like properly restrain kids and stuff. So we learned all of that, and then almost a month to the day, I made a very big mistake, and I lost that job. And that hit hard. Like, anyway, I sat down on this computer right here in front of me, and I applied for jobs, and I applied for jobs, and I applied for jobs. I went out to other places that I wanted to work to apply for jobs too, like just, doing the paper applications. I also went back to Lowe's, the Lowe's in Latrobe, and they still they still denied me a job, but that's okay. That's okay. I just like having to start, like I started over almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and my life was just almost exactly the way I wanted it to be whenever I moved in with Dustin, and I had a job, and I was doing all the right things instead of doing all the wrong things. And it wasn't the job I wanted, but it was a job for now, and I was making money, and I was saving money, I was paying my rent, you know, doing whatever. And then I've never put a 2 weeks notice in to a job. I've always either got fired or I quit, just left. So being able to do the adult thing, the right thing, and you know, give the boss of the job where I was at, hey, you know what, I got a better job, I'll stay for 2 weeks. You know, I've never done the right thing. So after I lost the job at the secure facility, I got really down on myself. I just was like, everything you do, you make a mistake. Everything you do just ends up being effed up. Like, why can't you just not make mistakes? But obviously everybody makes mistakes, but I just really sucked at life at that point. Like, I just felt like a complete failure again and again and again and again. And it just felt like a cycle to me because all I ever do is fail.
Can I?
Yes, please, please, please.
What would old Alyssa have done?
I got high.
Right. What did this Alyssa do?
I put myself back on a medication that helps cravings, and if I would do drugs, it would stop me from having any feeling of it.
So you're proactive.
Yes, I put myself back on that medication just so I didn't go do anything dumb.
That is a success.
That's a huge success.
And I know when you're in the thick of a mistake and what you perceive as failures, that it's easy to go back to old habits. So you should be very proud of yourself for not doing that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, my boyfriend Jesse, he's been on the show a couple of different times. But the words of his encouragement, like, this is just a setback. You're gonna be okay. I will help you any way I can. You need to get out of this slump because staying here is not good. I could sit here and tell you 1,000 things that he's told me, but the point is, like, he has said, get your ass up and go do something. Mm-hmm. You know, go get a job. I'll help you get a job where I work. And it ended up being, now we're gonna work together.
My dad always said you have 24 hours to feel bad for yourself, and then after that, get your shit together.
I think that's a really good way.
No, that is, yeah. I mean, some days I was like real perky, and I'm like on my computer finding stuff to do, you know, like trying to apply for jobs. I did go to a couple of interviews here and there, but also, excuse me, being denied by jobs, that makes it even worse. Mm-hmm. You can't even get a job at Lowe's. What is wrong with you? But
like, look at where you were. Like, you got into a secure facility. They looked past, you know, your past. And some places, the corporate policy makes it so hard. It doesn't matter that, you know, you've went through rehab, that you've done all of these things, have all of these certifications. Sometimes those companies just won't budge. Care. And that has nothing to do with your worth. Yeah. That's more about procedures and rules.
Whenever I had the interview at that secure facility, I said to my boss, I said, I have a criminal background. He said, do you have any felonies? I said, no. He's like, well, then I don't care.
Good.
Yeah. So that made me feel really good. But I just, like, every time I got denied from a job, which was probably about 3 or 4, I think, just because of my criminal background, it sucks. Like, why can't I just get a job at McDonald's either? Because I can't get a job at McDonald's either. But anyways, I got a job. I'm gonna make good money, hopefully, and I'm gonna work 7 days a week.
You don't have time to make mistakes now, yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna work 7 days a week. So,
Is that indefinitely?
yes. So it's a union. Well, actually, there's two unions. This is, again, City Brewery in Latrobe. There is a brewing side and a packaging side. And those are two completely different unions. Then they have quality assurance, QA, which is not union at all. It's company. So if I would start in the packaging side and end up getting a job on the brewing side, I'd have to wait it out on that union. Yeah. So I'll either end up in the brewing side or I'll end up in the warehouse, which is basically packaging. So, and that's actually where Jesse does maintenance. So we'll definitely be.
Could you imagine working with your spouse? No.
I mean, I do. I do a little bit.
Well, that's fair.
But only a couple hours.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, and another thing too that I felt as I was unemployed, like, why me? All the time. Why is it me? Why is it me? Why can't it be the girl that lives above me or something? Like, a lot has happened to me.
I think this would be good for you, though. I think you're getting better at this every day, but right now you still need a lot of structure.
I do.
You know,
I absolutely do.
Zig Ziglar said, everybody wants to be free, but if you take a train off the tracks, where's it going? You know, I think about that sometimes.
When you
You
think
said that really fast,
Too-
but I heard it.
you're letting go of that victim mentality of why me? Why
Sure.
is it always me? And you're looking at now of building resilience of shit. I've been through way worse than this. I've been
Yeah.
through way worse than losing a job. Like I can restructure, rebalance, and you have someone that's willing to hold you up as you go through it. And you have that to a certain degree. But I think when you're going through addiction, you just feel like you're on your own. through
Oh,
all
yeah,
of that,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? You feel like
Yeah.
no one really knows you or understands you. So I think that's it. They're in a different space than you were.
Yeah, and you have such like a bulldog mentality whenever you want to do something in a good way. I didn't even realize that this was so difficult for you. I mean, I heard you say it, but you've been through so much in the past. I thought this was just like a blip. All right, let's on to the next thing. I didn't realize it was so hard on you.
Well, I didn't tell you either.
Wow, that's good.
I didn't tell
Usually,
either of you.
you need to bottle all that stuff up and push it real far down and not tell anybody.
I figured that it was because I knew you were really proud of this job,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
you don't like to push people to talk about something if they're not ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like, okay, so this is another like, well, I didn't even really get the job myself kind of thing. I know I did, but I also thought like, well, Jesse went in and spoke to HR, said, hey, is there a position available? My girlfriend needs a job, da-da-da. And the next day, that night, he came home and said, you have an interview tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but if you weren't a good person, then you wouldn't have.
Right, of course, but like, I know that I got the job myself, I do. But in the process of getting that job, I'm like, I can't even get a job. My boyfriend has to do it for me.
But look at it from a different side of the coin, that you are dating someone with a good reputation that is willing to put himself out there to bring you in. Other people respect him and are willing to bring you in from that. So there's a double side to that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think of it that way at all. Like, I just always, like...
It's easy to see the dark side of everything.
Oh, yeah, and that's always... I don't want to say always, because I don't like to use never and always, but most of the time when something bad happens, I go straight to, oh, well, I did it again. I effed up again, you know? Like, I am trying to teach myself to think of, well, I lost this job because there's something else better for me. So now that I am in that mentality, now that I've had people around me that have told me things will be better now. You lost that job because another door is going to open for you. I love that job and I miss the kids, I really do. But we'll see where this goes. And I'm very grateful, very, very, very grateful for it.
I think a big thing about that too is like you feel like you're out of control, because we think that we have control in our lives. They're like, oh, and then 2020 happened and we were all like, well, we don't control shit. We're just kind of floating around on this thing in space. Like we don't have control over a lot of things, even the things we do think we have control of. So sometimes when big changes happen, we just kind of have to
roll with it.
And learn from them, like learn from the things that we do, because we all go on talking about our individuals. We probably will in a minute. We've all learned how to just roll with it and figure it out as we go.
You can control yourself. You can't control what happens to you.
The biggest thing about like being lifted up, like I don't just wake up and think, yay, okay, I'm gonna go apply for jobs today. Oh, I don't want to do that. But I have support. I have people that I can just lay all my shit out to. There's so many people that do support me, I can't even count. So that is pretty much the factor as into why I built myself back up from the disaster I felt that I caused whenever I lost that job. Like, it was devastating. I felt like I can't even put the words together, to be honest. I really had a good relationship with my bosses. We could joke around and be like, hey, make sure you go do this, or you know what I mean? Like they were my age too. So it was easy to like communicate with them. I've seen them do their jobs very well. Two bosses I had, but the biggest boss, he got out of college and he started there as what I started there, just as like regular staff. And he built himself up to being the director of operations, which is one person down from the CEO. And that took him 12 years, but still, hey, whatever. Like he's been the director of operations for a couple years. But I met him, I know his story, so now I think of that, like, well, he can do it, I can do it too. Like, he can build himself up. Like, I use him as an example in my life because I very much looked up to him. So that, I guess that job gave me the opportunity to meet somebody, to be able to hear his life story and use his life story to make me
to inspire you.
Myself. Yeah. So we're going to take a break for a little bit. We will be back. Okay, we had a break. Now we're back. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the points that Justin has written down that can kind of relate to some of the things that I have been talking about, you know, in the first half.
Yeah, I too at one point lost my job in like a 2-second conversation, and went a year without working, and I got into a different field, completely different. I did 14 years in the auto industry doing sales and finance to now into Servpro, sales and marketing for disaster cleanup, which two different places, but
the same concept.
A lot of the same concept. Things are very overlapping, and to be able to do like car sales, stuff like that, every single thing you do is overcoming an objection, and it's not. I don't mean that in like a slimy like type of way. It's you have a problem. Tell me what it is. Let me see if I can help you fix the problem.
Sure.
So, but
very blunt.
It is. It's weirdly. It's upfront about what everything is. Like, there's not as many nuances in car sales as there is to like other business, because other businesses you don't have the information. Like to buy and sell a car, all the information you need is on the internet and you can find it out. So it's just talking it out with another person.
Well,
where different industries, it's like I don't know how the sausage is made, and
Yeah. Well, you said to me, you're getting high, you're gonna stop, you're gonna pack your shit, and you're gonna get in my truck, and we're gonna fix the problem, and you're gonna go to rehab, and then problem is solved because I'm not getting high, but my life is getting back to where I want it to be. Like, that's the problem, we're fixing it, here we go.
Yeah, and it's problem solving, it's overcoming objections, and that's all life is in a lot of ways. But I have I wrote down 6 things, but the first thing I did, when you're starting over, you kind of have to start with reflection. You have to look at yourself, give yourself an honest evaluation, even if it's unkind.
Yeah, sure.
Give yourself an honest evaluation, and decide what it is you need to change about yourself, about your surroundings, about the people in your life. And I think that's the first and most important thing when you're starting over. The number 2 I have is examine your values and your systems. So,
What do you mean by system?
like how you do things. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So like your values, obviously, like core values, what you think about yourself, what you think about the situation you're in.
Sure.
But like your system is you have to organize and make a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't have a plan. I just applied for jobs. I guess that was my plan. Maybe I could have done it differently and it could have ended up differently, but for whatever reason, here we are,
Yeah. And number 3 was much like your values, you want to revisit your goals and rewrite them too. Actually physically write them down on a piece of paper so it's something tangible you can look at and you can see and you can come back to. And I think the 4th, maybe most important, is work up the courage to actually do it.
Yeah.
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 To do it by I don't want to even say like do it by yourself, but like if you need help, ask for help. But whatever it is that you can do by yourself, as in applying for jobs or just waking up in the morning in the first place, getting up and going to the gym, those kind of things.
Yeah.
That's courage to get up and have to, do those kind of things. It's not just based on just a job. Like it's just getting up, going to work, going to the gym,
Yeah. And there's a saying that sometimes the certainty of misery is better than the misery of uncertainty. So whenever do you get that?
Yeah, I got it.
No, but yeah, you have to like work up the courage to actually do it, actually change, and be not afraid to be miserable in a different way. Because if you're already miserable, what's it matter?
Yeah.
But number 5 is get a coach, get a mentor, get a therapist, get a group of people that will hold you accountable. And someone, they always say, be the dumbest person in the room, so that way you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
Which one of that is us? Which one am I? No.
I used to see a therapist probably about a year ago, maybe a little longer, and she is fabulous, but I moved away and she's 30 minutes away. I probably shouldn't make that an excuse, but
Yeah, I mean, use your phone and talk to her.
I don't like that. I mean, you're right. Okay.
You know how you said your pap was your best friend?
Yes.
How did you guys communicate?
We talked on the phone. He sent me letters, pictures,
Yeah.
Bibles.
So you could do the same thing with your therapist. Talk to her on the phone.
You're right.
Yeah. And the last thing I have written down is check in with yourself and just be accountable. Be accountable for it.
And looking at this list, this is exactly the process I pretty much went through going through a divorce, because you go through the steps of feeling like a failure, being embarrassed, not wanting to see people, isolating, and but whenever you do go through the reflection and you see why things happened, you learn things about yourself and you're able to make the changes and apply the changes and be accountable. And so it's not just for jobs or life situations.
No,
like it's relationships. It can be with anything, and it's a lot of times it's so emotional. Like those were the hardest years of my life, but it actually took that for me to wake up, to actually go to counseling and address the things from childhood that I didn't know how to do.
I remember whenever I used to come here all the time, you came in and you're like, I see my therapist 2 times a week. And now she put me in 1 time a week or 1 time a month. Like you were so excited that you were able to have accomplished things with whoever that was, once a week, twice a week, whatever. And then you made changes to move yourself up to just being able to have to see her once a month.
Yeah,
him or her, whatever.
I only go every couple of weeks now. Sometimes it is only once a month now, but
is that okay for you?
Yeah, it's fine. If things weren't, I would address it and go more. But things are good. I'm like so busy having hands in different pots everywhere. That
I gotcha.
yeah, but she still texts me every week just to make sure, do you want to meet this week or not?
That's cool.
So yeah,
She used to text me, and I would say, I have to work at 11, can't come in at 2, which was true. And then I kept giving her excuses, so she just stopped texting me, which is, I would probably do that too.
yeah.
But you know that half an hour isn't that far away.
It's not.
It's
You know
really
what?
not.
I drove a half an hour
How far
to
did you-
work at the car wash for a little over 3 months.
How far?
Or 3 weeks.
How far and how much time did you spend looking for drugs? Yeah, think about that.
And it's easy to look at it too, like 30 minutes is an excuse to not do something, or it can be your reason to. Like, it's only 30 minutes away. I
Yeah.
can put on my favorite audiobook, I can put on my favorite tunes, drive there, get it done, and then go home.
I wish that they would be able to pay for my gas in the process.
Right. That's wishful thinking. But
I'm
also,
gonna make that an excuse too.
also too, if you scheduled therapy from 3 to 4 and then we're at the gym at 5 or whatever, you know,
I would love that.
you could do it all in the same time.
Can't do it now.
I
Yeah.
drive 30 minutes every day.
Yeah. Right.
That's my podcast audiobook time, self-reflection and learning.
It's actually great to be able to do both those things. I like 30 minutes of silence at one time.
Yeah, I that's what I usually did in the morning. I didn't, my car for whatever reason won't connect to my phone. I don't know. And then the aux cord sounds really funny, so I have to listen to the radio. But I just turn it off
Yeah.
and it's just quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the entire time.
What do you got, Tristan? Anything exciting? Anything to add to that?
Just big life change coming up for me. I'm leaving pretty soon the job I've had for 14 years, and
It's
I
a
watched
big
my
deal.
coworker retire, and he was like one of my favorite people. That was a hard thing to see him. I still I didn't cry in front of him until he left, then I cried because I didn't want to make him feel bad. But yeah, Dave was one of my favorite people. He retired, and the county's going to come in and take over the process, and it's somewhere I've been for 14 years. So it also feels like you're failing, that we're giving this company over, we're letting someone else take it over.
Yeah.
But in the same light, it's also like giving it an opportunity to grow. So
Yeah,
giving
sure.
this place an opportunity to grow, and water from different areas can all interconnect, so that if there's any kind of big outages, like all these people were able to interconnect with water, and no one will ever be without water.
That's awesome. That's
so
great.
those are different ways to look at it. You can look at it as a failure or a chance for this company to grow, and hopefully flourish in ways that we just couldn't provide with our small municipal. So it's a big change, but I'm definitely looking forward to it, because I've been honestly ready to come into the gym full time for a while now.
We're all ready for you to do that.
Yeah.
We are, and I'm so excited for you too. Like I said earlier, every time I pull up Facebook, there's a story or a TikTok or something that is classes start for this and this and this on such and such a day. I always see flyers at least twice a week. You start new classes and you do new things, and being able to have one job, do that job all day. But if I was you, I would be thinking about gym stuff while I was at that job.
Yeah.
That's all I
Because this is more, I don't want to say more important to you, but your gym has flourished so much in the last year. I'm so
2
very,
years, 3 years now, where it's really.
Either way,
you can see it compounding.
Yeah.
it's
I am
getting
so
much
very
better.
proud of you for all the things that you're doing.
We're getting ready for a 10-year anniversary party.
Good.
And
Awesome.
both of you, you guys are both very inspiring to me. Whenever there has been times when I've been sitting on the couch just going through, and I see one of your posts or something, I'm like, man, look at all the stuff that she's been doing. Why can't I do that?
You can.
You know?
You can.
I know, but that was just part of the failure, devastation, depression part, the things that
And the things that you don't see too, though, I mean, people that have been here for a long time, they do, where I would try something, it wouldn't work, and I'd be like, well, all right, we're going to pivot,
Yeah.
and try something different. And there are tons of failures along the way. We've changed programmings, we've, changed class times, we've done all of these things to figure out what works. And, when you're living authentically to your values, to your system, it all just aligns and it just starts working for you, and you're like, oh shit, all right, I'm doing something right, like finally, and you have this feeling.
That day before I went to rehab, when I was in the gym, I will never forget what you said. You said, if you were doing the right thing, the universe will rise up to meet you. That is what you said. And I never, obviously, I think of that also.
I think, and one thing I think that helped me through my divorce too was like, I was angry for a long time of like, why is this happening? Why did I fail so badly? But sometimes these changes have to happen so that, you know, you can watch somebody else like flourish and like have a life again and like be happy and be able to not just be stuck in a job constantly. Maybe hours change at a job, and like it just provides a different, sometimes we just don't know what the reason is, and it just, you have to kind of find it on the way. And you might not in the beginning, it just might feel like the world is ending, and it did for a long time, but you eventually start to see the light again, and you start to find that hope, and it doesn't happen overnight. It just takes time.
It does. Being able to, like, not even just physically, but like social media does this stuff for me too, like, but especially the people around me, you know, these guys, even my daughter. It's kind of like you said, being able to see somebody else succeed is like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Like being able to have a person or several people to see that has been successful, like it's real, it can happen, you just have to do it. And I have to tell myself that. So like, my point is like just having other people in front of you, seeing them succeed and doing things that make their life the best that it could be. That's a lot easier to get out of that slump. I
think you gotta not be so embarrassed about your failures too, because there's what even is a failure? Like you have to, they're just hurdles and obstacles you can overcome, and you have to realize that every single person, the person on social media that looks like, hey, they have all their shit together, it still stinks. they still have issues, and not anyone is perfect, and you have to be able to be empathetic to other people, but also to yourself whenever you're being critical like that.
So another thing I noticed in the past couple of years is when I started giving my life to service, like doing community service things and being more involved in our community, my life improved tenfold.
Yeah.
When you start living for others and doing for others and donating time, it doesn't have to be money, because a lot of times we don't have money, and sometimes we don't have time and we only have money to donate.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, but as long as you're giving back and you're helping people rise with you, good things are going to happen to you, because like that's how it typically works. And sometimes bad things happen to great people, but when you are actively putting your life into service and empowering other people, good things come from that.
Absolutely.
Where I live, my landlord is a pastor. He's a really cool dude. I don't know how long ago, but he played for the Patriots for 3 years.
Loser.
And he played for the Lions for a year, I guess.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I guess he's still, from what he says, and he's a pastor, I don't think he's lying, but from what he says, he still holds, I don't remember, but some kind of record with the Patriots team. I don't remember what it is, but they have a lot of stuff. Like they have like a rummage sale. It's just like a yard sale inside the building, and there's just all kind of stuff. They have that twice a week. They also have twice a week you can go down and get like day-old Chick-fil-A food. I can't tell you how many big bags of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets I have, but I have asked them if they needed help. I have like at least tried, but they said that they didn't really need any help. So there are a lot of things that my church, or that church does, that I could get involved with that I haven't.
Yeah, go to your local church, go to the local food banks.
I've told them, I'll be there tomorrow.
How's that working out?
It's not.
Check in and be accountable.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, all these things are right. Like, I'm just being completely blunt, completely honest, and just telling you guys what's been going on.
Yeah, start with reflection and be honest about it. So, what do we got? Anything coming up? Anything exciting going on?
Just new classes.
New classes. Yeah.
Anything exciting for you?
Yeah, we're just continuing to work with Favor and Bolivar every other Thursday. We'll get back there and just keep doing that. But we're going to have them on too. Sometimes they're having a difficult time in their community. People are they're opening a church that is letting people stay there like the night before they go to rehab, like temporary housing for like a day or two.
Okay.
And someone from the town
So
council,
it's a church, you're saying?
It is. It was a former church.
Oh, okay.
Someone from the town wrote a letter to the board or whatever and said that they're trying to ship in
Immigrants
and homeless people. So they're having.
no.
So I want to get her on here to let her talk and be open about that stuff. She's
that'd be great.
Fantastic person too. So
yeah, that'd definitely be great.
I hope people would just realize that the people that are struggling with addiction, those can be your fathers, your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, your wives, your sons. Like, be kind and be compassionate to people. They're people.
Yeah.
They're struggling and they are doing the right thing to get help. So be kind.
I had
I love that.
A conversation with a gentleman this week. He lost a cousin recently, and he said that his cousin was in rehab 3 times, and they were very close, and he didn't even know that he was ever, because mom and dad kept it from him, and it's like you have to be open about this stuff. So yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? Good job today, Les. You did good. We're proud of you.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah.
This will probably be, well, no, I guess not the last one, because I got time in the morning before work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely good to be back, for sure.
Yeah, we're going to do, like we talked to Peyton Baylog, the lady from Favor. We're going to do one on OCD. We have a baseball coach coming up. We got lots of stuff going on.
You got somebody too? Is that the baseball coach?
And his sister runs a mental health facility that she's interested in coming in, and I cannot wait to talk to her.
I'm super excited about that.
And Danny, I love Danny.
What if we have them both together? Like,
we want to give them both their voice to be able to do their own thing, because his is totally different than baseball. So,
Yeah.
But all right. Thanks, guys. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.